It's Thursday, July 9th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. A fatal crash exposes worry about the state of a road vital to all three maritime provinces. We go to sea, where the wreck of Sir Ernest Shackleton's Quest has been discovered.
Well, humidity has risen in the Maritimes, but will be falling back as we move through the weekend.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. That fatal collision involving an ambulance earlier this week is exposing long-held worries about the state of the single-lane highway that basically connects the three maritime provinces. CTV's Derek Haggett spoke with people who live near and use the road daily.
Flowers lie next to a scorched patch of highway where 3 people were killed earlier this week. 2 PEI paramedics and their patient died after an ambulance collided with a transport truck in the community of Melrose Tuesday morning. People in nearby Port Elgin are still feeling the pain.
I think everybody is still trying to process everything that's gone on. It can't help. You can't help but be impacted by what happened.
The mayor of Strait Shores calls Route 16 scary, and she would like to see the province step in and step up to make improvements.
It is a terrible road. It needs more police presence. I think we need to ensure that people feel that they're safe on that road.
This distillery is just a few kilometers from where the crash took place.
I mean, anytime somebody gets killed on the highway is a tragedy for anybody. But this particular piece of road has a lot of accidents.
So, yeah, as far as if the highway's safe or not, I believe it is safe. It's highly congested during the tourist season, and there's a lot of traffic here.
Port Elgin's fire chief politely declined an interview today, saying the cause of the crash is under investigation by the RCMP. He did, however, say how proud he was of the men and women of his department who responded to Tuesday's crash in what was an incredibly difficult situation.
I hold them all in my thoughts and prayers because they have to navigate everything that they've seen and went through this week.
Over 100 paramedics in New Brunswick have agreed to volunteer, if required, to fill in for their island counterparts who are coping with the devastating loss of their colleagues. Derek Haggett, CTV News, near Port Elgin, New Brunswick.
The IWK Hospital Foundation is expressing sorrow over the death of one of the paramedics, Mike McKenzie, who they knew and was involved in that collision. In a statement, the foundation noted he was a valued volunteer from Prince Edward Island and remained committed to the IWK. It goes on to say Mike was a bright light in this world. He was kind, funny, always cheerful, always positive, and passionate about improving health care for children in his community. Nova Scotia RCMP say a man suffered an apparent gunshot wound after an incident this morning near Chelsea in Nova Scotia's Lunenburg County. You may recall, as we came on the air last night, police issued an emergency alert about a dangerous man with a weapon, advising residents to lock their doors and stay inside. The alert was lifted about 3 hours later. Police say they located the man on Highway 210 around 9 in the morning, and an officer fired his weapon. The man was injured, and officers were provided first aid. Now, there's no word on the extent of the injuries. No one else was hurt. The Serious Incident Response Team is now leading the investigation. Nova Scotia's Premier was grilled today for appointing the former head of the province's health authority to a new government agency. Critics wonder why no competition was held for the lucrative position and why it was created when so much is being cut. Here's CTV's Jesse Thomas.
Our hope.
Premier Tim Houston faced a lot of questions around the appointment of Karen Oldfield as the CEO of the newly created Accelerate Nova Scotia agency. Since 2021, Oldfield has been working as the interim CEO at Nova Scotia Health and has been closely aligned with the provincial PC party since her time as chief of staff to former Premier John Hamm. Houston said he has no doubt that Oldfield is the best person for the job.
Maybe we could bring somebody else in and they could spend a year trying to figure out, well, what did you do and how did you do that and what were the challenges and what did you learn from that? Maybe. But why would we do that when we have the architect of all that right here before our very eyes?
But when pressed further by reporters, Houston wasn't exactly clear on how Accelerate Nova Scotia will operate within government and how it will be staffed.
Structural stuff, there would have been, somebody would have had some ideas on that, but...
Opposition were quick to criticize the hiring of Oldfield without an open competition and questions why the Houston government is prioritizing the creation of a new government agency when it's facing a $1.2 billion deficit and making cuts to long-standing government programming.
I'd never heard of Accelerate Nova Scotia until last week. I think that the fact that we can't find $350,000 to keep libraries open across our province, but we can invent a new department and give essentially that salary to someone who is a close political ally of the Premier is raising eyebrows all over our province.
I don't think the government has demonstrated why we even need Accelerate Nova Scotia. I mean, the reality is Nova Scotians deserve health care that works before we work on health care that sells.
Houston believes Accelerate Nova Scotia and Oldfield can drive economic opportunities here, in particular through advancements in health research and innovation. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
As you heard, one service impacted by provincial budget restraint is the library network in the Annapolis Valley. News of closures sparked protests in several communities. There's a last-ditch effort to keep the libraries open, but is it enough? CTV's Callum Smith reports.
The writing is on the wall, or window, with July 20th's pending closure on the horizon for 5 Annapolis Valley Regional Library locations. The clock is ticking.
I hear about it all day and every day. I go to sleep thinking about it. People are very passionate about their libraries. And like I said, if we lose one, we all lose.
It brings that access to books and technology, and also it's a sense of like bringing everyone together.
The AVRL board met with municipalities on Monday and the province on Wednesday. The province fronts 71% of operational library costs outside of HRM. The libraries have been slated for closure, citing stagnant funding, meaning collecting books from the library or return will be a thing of the past. But Kentville's mayor says a public meeting is now set for Monday coming up to
look into pausing the closures to give us a little more time.
My hope has and will always be that public libraries have sustainable funding because they are critical parts of our communities.
But that's the missing piece. AVRL announced its budget shortfall in January was around $625,000, now sitting at about $400,000. According to Kentville's mayor, 3 of 8 municipalities have paid the increase asked of them. But even if they all meet the target, the long term is a tougher picture. The minister responsible was asked if more money would be available.
No, there's not happening. We're asking the same thing, asking for these branches to remain open. We're here to work with the AVRL and the library system, as well as our municipal partners. We're both the funders, and we want to continue to work with them on a sustainable model.
AVRL says it's only received a 10% budget boost dating back to 2009, forcing cutbacks in staffing, services, and programming.
And so you combine these operational increases with a static funding formula, and you arrive at a gradual erosion of the budget's ability to cope with the services that are being asked of it.
Right now, the minister says the focus is on keeping the libraries open for the rest of the year, but all sides need to collectively make that happen. I spoke to Kings County's mayor today. Dave Corkum says they were asked to pay an additional $165,000 on top of their yearly $500,000, but says they only went halfway. He says the county is awaiting an update following Monday's meeting before determining next steps for his county. Todd.
And we will watch how that shakes down. Callum Smith in the newsroom this evening. Thank you. There were 5 fewer workplace-related deaths in New Brunswick last year. That's 5 mothers, fathers, sons and daughters who came home from work each day. CTV's Avery McRae reports on the steady improvement in workplace safety in the province.
Each day, thousands of New Brunswickers lace up their boots and shoes and head to the office or job site, which has become a bit safer than it was a year ago.
Our vision is making New Brunswick the safest place to work. So the best thing we can do is prevent injuries.
WorkSafe NB's annual report looks at workplace health and safety in 2025. Key findings in the report include just 9 workplace-related deaths, down from 14 in 2024, and the second lowest competitive assessment rate in the country. But Tim Peterson isn't satisfied.
Creating that health and safety culture where coming to work and doing things safely just becomes part of the fabric of the workplace. And that's when I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
For the New Brunswick Federation of Labor, the annual report is an important tool to keep everyone working accountable.
Really, it gives the ability to show where we need to strengthen and where we need to put more emphasis and more focus on.
One of those focus areas for Chris Watson is support for mental health. The report showed positive signs with traumatic psychological injury claims down 26% year over year, but there is still more to do.
I don't know if there's more psychological as opposed to physical, but just having them, recognize it is a huge advancement.
We're doing a lot of work building programs around that, and we're in the just sort of in the infancy of getting those programs stood out and getting out and working with workplaces in the province of New Brunswick.
This edition of the report marks the first full year of the Crown Corporation's 5-year strategic plan to improve worker safety in the province. A plan Peterson says won't be a complete success until there are 0 workplace-related deaths in New Brunswick. Avery McCrae, CTV News, St. John.
It's 22 degrees right now in Chester, Nova Scotia, and wouldn't it be nice to be at the water's edge, because it is certainly feeling muggy in a lot of places in the Maritimes right now. Kayla Mitchell is at the Weather Center with details about that. It's going to settle down a bit tonight, though.
So increasing humidity the last couple of days in the Maritimes. We're starting to feel that during the nights and the mornings, so turning a little bit milder. This morning was an example. Morning temperatures were mostly around the low to mid-teens for the Maritimes, and temperatures for tonight, the low temperatures that is, mostly around the mid to high teens for the region. The humidity also taking another form in the air in the form of some fog, and I have a great fog picture to share with you coming up at the end of the program for tonight. In the meantime, though, as we moved into the afternoon, temperatures soared, and a lot of highs today reached the mid to high 20s, some cases into the low 30s, including around the southwest of New Brunswick and parts of the interior of the southwest of Nova Scotia, as well as the Annapolis Valley. Humidity has been a factor for today, so for the first part of this evening, temperatures are mostly still in the range of the 20s, and in some cases sitting at 30 degrees. Humidex has definitely been and continues to be a factor around the Maritimes, making most communities actually feel into the 30s. Now, for those who find that level of humidity too uncomfortable, it is going to be coming down for the upcoming weekend. We get a little bit of a refresher here in the Maritimes as a cold front moves through on Saturday. Now, as that front moves in on Saturday, there's going to be some showers in the region for tomorrow, and with those showers, a risk of some thunderstorms. We have a couple pop-up showers right now in the south of New Brunswick, as well as one that's drifting towards the east of Prince Edward Island. No lightning with those at the moment, but there is some lightning with the main part of this weather system, and that moves closer to the Maritimes coming up for tomorrow. In the meantime, because there's going to be some increase in cloudiness for tonight, it's not as ideal as the last couple of nights for some night sky viewing. Waning crescent moon still won't be rising above the eastern horizon until after 1:30 a.m. You might be able to spot the planet Venus, though, setting on the western horizon this evening. And we're in a period of time right now where there's some great passes from the International Space Station. One of those at 9:47 p.m. from the southwest to northeast should be rising fairly high into the sky as well above us. And this next pass at 11:24 p.m. 8 minutes long again from the west to the northeast. Todd.
It's kind of interesting to watch that, right? Looking up, thinking the only humans that aren't on planet Earth are in that little dot.
It is pretty cool, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you get a chance to get out and look at it, do that. All right, we will see you in about 16 minutes' time. Thank you, Kaylin. It's been over a week since New Brunswick's virtual health care service launched, and already some people are reporting problems. From hours-long wait to get an appointment to appointments that never seem to happen. CTV's Anna Mandan has the details.
For months, Health Minister John Dornan promised a seamless transition from eVisit NB to Found Ever's virtual care NB service. But over a weekend, some are struggling with the new provider.
I waited 4 hours to get somebody, and I still didn't get anybody.
Moncton resident Samantha Melanson used the service last Friday looking for a puffer for a cold. Appointments can be accessed either through the online symptom checker or by calling 811. But she says it took a few different tries on the symptom checker before she was given an appointment. Maple was the app eVisit operated through previously. Melanson says she waited an hour after the appointment was set to begin before logging off. 15 minutes later, she received a message that the doctor was ready, but when she logged back on 1 minute later, she says no one was there. She waited on the site 3 more hours.
And then I was like, I give up. I'm just going to call my family doctor and see if I can get anywhere.
She's not alone. One woman who wasn't comfortable speaking on camera told CTV she waited on the phone for 2 hours and was disconnected twice when she tried again on Thursday. Others have taken to Facebook to raise similar concerns. Neither Premier Susan Holtz nor Health Minister John Dornan provided interviews by deadline. Anna Mandan, CTV News, Fredericton.
On our website, sex-related charges against a former Fredericton police volunteer are being dropped. We have the details right now at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. More people have been hit by cars in Halifax this year than last. The number of pedestrian collisions worries police and advocates who are struggling to find ways to improve street safety. CTV's Emma Convey has the details.
Halifax's Quinpool Road on Tuesday, an elderly person was hit by a car while in a marked crosswalk. The pedestrian was seriously hurt. The driver was given a ticket. Scenes like this are becoming increasingly familiar in Halifax.
From January to July in 2025, there was 55 pedestrian collisions, and from January to July in 2026, there were 74 vehicle pedestrian collisions.
The jump in numbers is a concerning trend for crosswalk advocate Norm Collins. He's been advocating for crosswalk safety since 2007 and created the Crosswalk Flags program in 2009 with hopes of improving these stats.
We're trending the wrong way. I think there were like 160 collisions last year. That just should not be acceptable.
Collins says data shows majority of these types of collisions happen at intersections and on arterial and collector roads like Quinpool and Roby in Halifax. And according to the city's road safety dashboard highlights, after a number of years.
These are things like speed humps and rectangular rapid flashing beacons and leading pedestrian intervals. 90% of the targets were achieved, yet last year, only 50%.
Police say these collisions could happen at any time, anywhere, and for a number of reasons.
Impaired driving being one, distracted driving, weather conditions is another.
And of course, speeding.
Summary offense tickets issued by police forces, both HRP and HRM, have declined dramatically. The 2024 road safety strategy is clear that enforcement is a critical issue to changing behavior, to improving safety on our roads.
Halifax Regional Police say there are a number of things both pedestrians and motorists can do to reduce these collisions. For motorists, slow down, avoid distractions, and drive defensively. For pedestrians, stop before crossing, use crosswalks, and make eye contact with drivers. And of course, Todd, distracted driving can also result in a ticket. Todd.
All right, Emma in Halifax, thank you for that. Hiring someone to renovate your home often comes down to trust. For a growing number of Atlantic Canadians, that trust is being eroded. CTV News commissioned a survey that shows there is a lack of confidence in consumer protection against being ripped off. CTV's Hafsa Arif has the numbers.
This isn't done right.
It was supposed to be a new backyard deck, a place to enjoy summer days. Instead, to Ruth Lavoie, it's an incomplete renovation.
It's terrible. It really is. It's sad that people do this. Really sad.
Lavoie says she paid a little over $2,000 to the contractor she hired. They began the work, but then stopped showing up.
June 22nd, and he said he was going to come late that day or the next day. And I mentioned to him that it was going to downpour on Tuesday. That's the last time I heard from him.
Situations like this have experts warning property owners to do their homework before hiring someone, and written agreements should outline expectations, timelines, and payment schedules.
You want to make sure you have everything written in a formal contract. You want to ensure that they have proof of insurance.
And it's quite loose.
For Lavoie, she didn't have that type of agreement. She hired the contractor after previous work in her home went well.
When I asked this guy if he knew anybody that did floors, and he did my floors. He did a great job.
But this project ended differently, leaving her to pay someone else to repair the damage. In a survey conducted by Nanos Research for CTV News, numbers show 5.5% of Atlantic Canadians say they experienced a contractor taking payment without finishing the work. Another 13.4% say they know someone who's gone through it.
You don't want them to make or be pushing or pressuring you.
For Ruth, the unfinished deck has taken a financial and emotional toll.
It's because I'm a widow and I'm on my own, and I mean, I'm only on I live month to month.
The survey reveals Atlantic Canadians in particular do not put much confidence in consumer protection. Only 12% of respondents feel protections are good. Nearly 39% rate it poor or very poor. For Ruth, the biggest lesson she's taking away from this experience is simple.
They're not going to get paid until the job's done.
A lesson too many are learning after the fact. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Tonight, home renovations gone wrong.
He ghosted me completely.
A W5 investigation uncovers a shocking number of Canadians paying for reno projects only to be stuck with unfinished jobs.
It's Pat Foran of CTV News.
What happened when we tracked down one contractor to get some answers? W5 investigates tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
Halifax University has revealed financial woes will mean fewer faculty and staff working in the coming year. The University of King's College is the latest maritime post-secondary school to announce cuts. The institution, known for its foundation and journalism programs, needs to shrink its payroll by at least 14 positions. It's hoping to get there by offering early retirement and buyouts. If not, there will be layoffs.
It could be involuntary layoffs. Yeah, that could be a possibility. We're really hoping it doesn't come to that, but that could be something that happens.
King's VP says the school is slashing department budgets by 5% and has imposed a hiring freeze for the next 2 years. A proposed whale sanctuary along Nova Scotia's eastern shore has received some notable support. The Assembly of Nova Scotia Mi'kmaq Chiefs has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Whale Sanctuary Project, pledging to work together on educational outreach and research. The U.S.-based group plans to build a 40-hectare floating net enclosure on Nova Scotia's eastern shore as a refuge for captive whales. The group held a groundbreaking ceremony at the location last month. Still ahead in your newscast tonight, we'll go to the Labrador Sea, where Shackleton's shipwreck Quest has been found after more than a century. Kaylin looks at the weather weekend ahead, but first, it certainly looks like war again in Iran.
The U.S. and Iran are once again trading airstrikes, putting the future of this war and the Strait of Hormuz in limbo. I'm Christiane Cordero in Washington with the latest coming up.
This is the Campfire Conditions Report, brought to you by Pine Acres RV, where customers become friends. For most of the province of New Brunswick, you are currently not allowed to have a campfire. Now, there's some exceptions. Madawaska County in the northwest, campfires are allowed between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Likewise, for Charlotte County and Kings County, campfires allowed 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., and St. John's County is open for a campfire at any time. For the province of Nova Scotia, most of the province, you're allowed to have a campfire between 7 p.m. and 8 a.m. The two exceptions are the counties in the Annapolis Valley. So we've got Annapolis County and Kings County, where campfires are currently not allowed. For the province of Prince Edward Island, campfires are currently permitted, but there is no domestic brush burning. Please be sure as well to check in on any municipal restrictions and bylaws.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The U.S. and Iran have resumed missile strikes. This as countries in the area try to kickstart a new ceasefire. Let's get the latest now from ABC's Christian Cordero.
Today, U.S. officials say a series of missiles and drones launched by Iran towards several military bases in the region were intercepted, with no American troops wounded. The strikes were headed toward multiple countries, including Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan, and Qatar. It comes as the U.S. and Iran trade airstrikes, escalating the war and killing at least 14 people, according to Iran's health ministry. And today, a show of force inside Iran. Hundreds of thousands of regime supporters filling the streets on the last day of Ayatollah Khamenei's funeral. Some in the crowd carrying banners threatening President Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, including one that reads, "Trump and Netanyahu, we will kill you." Trump acknowledged the heightened danger yesterday.
And you know what? I may be gone too, because I'm their #1 target.
Israeli officials now warn they're ready to return to Iran, quote, with even greater force if necessary. With tension growing, traffic that started moving through the Strait of Hormuz appears to be slowing. As part of the 60-day Memorandum of Understanding, U.S. forces agreed to remove its blockade there, while Iran agreed to allow the strait to reopen.
That's their biggest leverage. They have used the Strait of Hormuz, I think, very well from their perspective. 21% of the world's energy supply, 30% of the material we need to produce food comes through there, and they have shown that they can close it.
And one executive with a shipping company tells ABC News he has a ship waiting to cross the strait, but that he's not confident in the safety of the route, so is taking it day by day. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Will the hot weather continue? Kaylin Mitchell is in the CTV Weather Center. We will get details in the forecast right after this. It looks hot, doesn't it? It was a sweltering day in the Annapolis Valley, including this farmland in Lower Kennard and Kings County. Afternoon temperatures, what, hit around 30 degrees?
Around 30 degrees, but with the increased humidity in the air, so we're talking about humidex value, probably feeling closer to the mid-30s for today. So not quite matching the peak of that extraordinary heat and humidity we had at the end of last week, but by our standards here in the Maritimes, hot, muggy.
Hot and muggy for, well, we're not even mid-July yet.
Well, we're through the first little bit of July.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. We've got the rest of this month and August ahead of us. Let's take a look at weather conditions across the country. You know, we're not the only ones that are going to be getting into some heat here. There's another ridge in the jet stream building up through southern parts of the prairies. And so their temperature is going to be ticking upwards here over the upcoming days. You can see they're quite warm even at this hour. So 25 at Calgary, 24 at Regina, and 26 degrees at Winnipeg. Up in the north right now, Whitehorse 16 degrees, the mix of sun and cloud, and Yellowknife sitting at 20. Iqaluit at 10 degrees, so a little bit on the fresher side there with a mix of sun and cloud. There's some heat down in the southwest of Ontario. It's 28 at Windsor right now. Other parts of Ontario are cooler with some passing rounds of some showers and some thunderstorms. That along a weather front that's going to be making its way into the Maritimes coming up for tomorrow. Now ahead of that front, we are plenty warm. We're on the muggy side. It's 27 at Fredericton, 26 at Halifax, 23 at Charlottetown, catching one of those little pop-up showers that developed through the south of New Brunswick. One of those drifted into Prince Edward Island, and 14 degrees at St. John's. Now, taking a look at our forecast timeline, those little isolated showers will be mostly coming to an end as we make our way through the first couple of hours this evening. The rest of the night for the Maritimes will see increasing cloudiness and some rain and some showers moving into western areas of New Brunswick by around midnight. That is the start of the wet weather in the forecast for Friday for the Maritimes. And during the morning hours for the region, that is when some rain, showers, and fog is going to be most widespread. Now, the main area of wet weather with this system is going to be coming in through the province of New Brunswick and then crossing Prince Edward Island. Nova Scotia will be seeing some showers, but they're going to be more scattered in coverage for that province. Now, within the showers, there is going to be a risk of some localized downpours and thunderstorms. And after that first round goes through in the morning, afternoon into evening, some further but much more isolated pop-up showers and a few thunderstorms are expected. Those will be coming to an end Friday evening as the front clears past us, and then drier air moves in behind it for the weekend. So the higher humidity levels for both today and tomorrow Now, those come down in the weekend forecast. Rainfall amounts for this weather system are going to be highly varied across the Maritimes. In most areas that just pick up lighter showers, it'll be a few to several millimeters. If you happen to have one of those downpours or one of those small thunderstorms, though, move directly over top of your community, then you could see some local rainfall amounts as high as around the 20 to 30 millimeter range. And the chance of that is highest for communities in New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island, where that main area of wet weather is moving through again Friday morning. Taking a look at winds in the forecast for tomorrow, they're going to change direction as that front moves through. Late in the day, they'll be mostly out of the north and northwest for New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. And that wind direction change will take place for Nova Scotia Friday evening and Friday night. During the day on Friday for Nova Scotia, the winds mostly out of the west and southwest with some gusts between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. It's a warm, muggy night for the Maritimes with most of the overnight lows not much cooler than around 16 to 19 degrees. Highs for tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick between 24 and 27. That morning rain moving through, followed by a chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. Same thing goes for central and southern areas of New Brunswick, where despite some of that wet weather, the temperatures are still going to be very warm and the air is going to be quite humid. Tomorrow morning for Prince Edward Island, there'll be that area of rain moving through, and then in the afternoon, a lower chance of a shower or thunderstorm. And for Nova Scotia, some fog, some scattered showers in the morning, and then in the afternoon, some sunny breaks and a lower chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm. High temperatures in the east of Nova Scotia for tomorrow, mostly in the low to mid-20s. Same thing goes for northern and central parts of the province, but with the humidity, it's going to be feeling close to the high 20s or even near 30. And into the southwest of Nova Scotia, highs of 24 to 27 degrees, but feeling close to 30 with the amount of mugginess in the air. But then that humidity comes down for the weekend, which is looking pretty pleasant. A mix of sun and cloud on Saturday, sunshine in the forecast for New Brunswick Sunday and Monday. It's followed by a chance of showers on Tuesday of next week. It's hot again. A mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday and a chance of showers on Thursday. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, a mix of sun and cloud on Saturday, and then sunny conditions for the end of the weekend and the start of next week. Chance of showers on Tuesday, mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday, and a chance of showers on Thursday of next week. And for Prince Edward Island, the island gets a little bit of a refresher this weekend with high temperatures, mostly in the low to mid-20s, but lower humidity levels. It's looking like it's going to be hot and sunny on Monday, chance of showers on Tuesday, mixed sun and cloud on Wednesday, and a chance of showers on Thursday of next week, Todd.
All right, thank you, Kaylin. Coming up next, we're going to go to the Labrador Sea. See why in a moment.
Join us for a Friday edition tomorrow of Stop the Pump. Your chance to win some gas money with us at 7 a.m.
And at 7:30, someone's going to win all-you-can-eat wings to St. Louis Bar and Grill.
Welcome back. There is a lot of buzz coming from the waters off the East Coast. An expedition led by the Royal Canadian Geographic Society has captured the first images of the wreck of Quest, best known as a vessel of the famed Antarctic explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton. Expedition leader and Society CEO John Geiger joins us from, well, hi there, John. Look, why don't you tell us where you are?
Well, we're in the Labrador Sea. We're just above Quest. We've been working on the wreck for now about a day and a half. So yeah, we're out offshore, sort of, I guess, east of Battle Harbor.
Okay, and the weather has been holding out for you.
The weather for the first part of our stay here was great. Unfortunately, today there's a wind, which is causing too much commotion. So we're sitting tight. ROV is in the water, but it's not working at the moment. And Alvin, our submersible, human-occupied vehicle that we've been using to go down and look at the wreck with our own eyes, is unfortunately not able to go in right now. So we're hoping that things settle down a bit, and tomorrow morning we'll be back in the water with Alvin.
Okay, very good. You first discovered the wreck in, 2024, a couple of years ago. You went down in the submersible that you mentioned. So tell us about seeing the wreck emerge from the darkness.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing feeling. You know, as you mentioned, 2 years ago, we were lucky enough to locate the wreck, but we only had sonar imagery, so it was very, basic. It wasn't until just a day and a half ago or a day ago that I was able to go down in the Alvin and actually have the view that you're seeing of the wreck. I mean, it was incredible. We were crawling along seafloor in Alvin, and then we suddenly emerging from the abyss was this incredible the bow of the ship. You could see this huge feature, this wreck, and we sort of then lifted up off of the seafloor and sort of perched on the bow of the ship, and you could see the the full shape of the hull, and it was really incredible to think that Shackleton was walking on some of those planks, and that was the ship he died on. So it was quite an emotional experience, actually.
Yeah, no doubt. What kind of condition is it in? I mean, it looks pretty intact from what we saw.
Well, it's certainly largely intact, but there's actually also a lot of damage to it. What's interesting is the activity of bottom trawling has really affected the wreck. This is something that was a surprise to us. Shouldn't have been, because I believe that bottom trawling was really intensive activity in this area for a long time. So the wreck has been damaged. The wheelhouse, which was a prominent feature of the wreck, has been sort of collapsed, and that's, I think, because, again, not because of the initial, possibly because of the initial sinking, but possibly also because of the work of the bottom trawling activity. There's nets ensnared on the wreck, and there's actually evidence that one of the trawlers was damaged by the wreck, because there's part of another ship that seems to have been snared onto the wreck, and part of that ship was detached and is in near proximity to Quest. So it's quite an interesting story. We're still trying to understand what happened there, but there's evidence of a second shipwreck, in the immediate. Not the ship didn't sink, but it clearly was damaged, and we think it was damaged because of its entanglement with Quest.
Yeah. Amazing. These are mysteries, and once you uncover them, they often present more. So
surprises.
Yeah. So you found it. Now what?
Yeah. Well, so what we're doing is we're documenting it. We're creating using Voyast, a Canadian technology, to create a 3D model, effectively, of the digital model of the digital twin of Quest. So we're going to be able to create an incredibly accurate picture of the wreck, and people will be able to sort of, using the technologies available, AI, walk around the wreck, get a sense of it, see it really almost as if they're seeing it with their own eyes. So we're going to replicate the experience I had going down in the Alvin, but it'll be available to people in their homes or in schools, that kind of thing.
John, I think we tend to think of Shackleton in the sort of the arena of the Antarctic, not necessarily our north. What was Quest doing? What was he doing on board? You said he died on board.
Yeah, so Quest was originally purchased by Shackleton for Canadian Arctic expedition, and the plan was to go and explore the Beaufort Sea. I think at the back of his mind, he was hoping to take a run at the North Pole. But remember, this is 1921, early days still of Arctic as well as Antarctic exploration. But the Canadian government under Arthur Meehan pulled the plug at the last minute, and as a result, he was left with a ship, a crew, provisions, but no Canadian Arctic expedition. And so he turned south again and headed off with Quest, a ship really built for Arctic conditions, and went to Antarctica. And that voyage presented some real problems. The deficiencies of the ship became apparent to Shackleton, and as a result, I think the stress built up, and he died of a fatal heart attack on Quest. So some of these images you're looking at are some amazing images that expedition 2022 that located Endurance, an earlier wreck of Shackleton's, found, the Endurance 22 expedition. So we're documenting the wreck now with an ROV. We will be creating this digital twin, and we're also having the thrill of going down and looking at Quest ourselves through our own eyes, which is it's a unique, I think, unprecedented experience for any of the Shackleton wrecks.
And you know, and so exciting that you know, Canadian history keeps revealing itself. There's so much more to go after. Congratulations, and thank you for all the great work. And it's fascinating, and we look forward to that project that you'll be working up in the weeks and months when you get back. So,
well, thank you. We're actually headed next to Terra Nova, the last ship of Robert Falk and Scott, which is 2 days sail from here. So the excitement continues.
Okay, well, stay tuned. Safe sailing. Great talking to you, John. That's John Geiger of the Royal Canadian Geographic Society. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more of your newscast after this. To health headlines now. Ovarian cancer is often diagnosed because of other medical problems. CTV's Brianne Foley has the details in our Thursday edition of The Lifeline.
A new study found 40% of ovarian cancer cases are diagnosed during medical emergencies, and experts say that slashes the chances of early detection, which is key to survival. Researchers looked at 28,000 women in the UK who had ovarian cancer. Just over 11,000 of them were diagnosed within 28 days of an emergency hospital admission. Researchers also found that a small number of these cases were caught at an early stage.
Some of the early symptoms of ovarian cancer can be subtle, such as abdominal pain, bloating, pelvic discomfort, or changes in bowel habits, and this can mimic what you might feel from a lot of different medical conditions. So if people really wait until they have emergent symptoms, you can imagine that's a later stage of ovarian cancer.
Doctors say certain factors can cause delays in care, such as age, socioeconomic factors, and underlying medical conditions. They add that if you notice any of these subtle symptoms, it's better to be safe and seek medical care. Health officials say a wild rat recently found in Santa Fe County, New Mexico, tested positive for pestilence. That was confirmed after the rodent was submitted for testing to the New Mexico Department of Health. At least 4 other animal infections were reported in 2026, including 3 dogs in Santa Fe County. Plague symptoms for animals and humans include loss of appetite, swollen lymph nodes, and fever. With health and medical news, I'm Brianne Foley for The Lifeline.
Okay, some program notes. We're going to talk about the FIFA World Cup down to the quarterfinals. CTV, TSN, Crave. We have coverage of each match, but of course that means there will be some impact on our newscasts on certain days, including today and again tomorrow. CTV News at 5 and CTV News at 6 will be on CTV 2. Go to the QR code on the screen or to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to see the full list of the dates that will be shuffled around. So we'll be here on CTV 2 tomorrow night. The business report is next. Bit of a rebound on the markets today. The Dow was up 139 points. Canadian retailer Aritzia reported earnings today. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has details.
It was yet another blowout quarter for the clothing company. Aritzia reported first quarter revenue of $950 million. That's a 43% increase year over year. Sales were up 25% in Canada, but 55% up in the U.S. The company is also doing well online. Aritzia expects sales to hit at least $4.5 billion this year. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 70.56. West Texas Intermediate down over $2 to 71.88. Western Canadian Select up over $2 to 58.10. And the TSX gained 264 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Okay, Kaylin, we have to straighten something out. In the commercial break, you were laughing that I said it wasn't even July yet. And I said, well, I believe I said it was not even mid-July yet. Somewhere in the middle probably is what was actually said. But here we are.
I knew where you were going with it, Tom.
It's not mid-July yet, and we've got some big weather. Some big temperatures.
That's right. So very warm, very humid right now. The humidity this morning in parts of the Maritimes taking a different form in the form of some fog. I love a good foggy picture. This is sent in by Cindy Perot from Alder Point, Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Thank you so much for that, Cindy. Tomorrow, there's going to be some fog around in the morning. Likely to be a few showers move through the day. For Alder Point, highest chance of showers early Friday afternoon. Day planner for tomorrow. There'll be an area of some rain in the morning hours, making its way through New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Risk of some thunderstorms or some localized downpours within that rain. Scattered showers and fog patches for Nova Scotia. In the afternoon for the Maritimes, we actually see the sun break through a little bit, especially in the province of New Brunswick, and there will be a lower chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Let's find out what's ahead on your Morning Atlantic.
Friday on your Morning Atlantic, up, up, and away.
The annual Atlantic Kite Festival is soaring our way this weekend, and we'll get all the high-flying details.
Start your morning with us Friday on your Morning Atlantic on CTV2 and Crave.
Finally for us tonight, speaking of up, up, and away, this is your chance to take part in a NASA mission. The space agency is looking for 4 volunteers to spend a year in a simulated space habitat. The Moon and Mars exploration analog will take place at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. It will mimic conditions of the Moon and Mars. The 4 will simulate months-long flights to and from these celestial bodies and do things like mock Mars walks and use a rover to travel and explore. The space simulation is set to begin in August. A reminder, all that will be done on Earth, not actually on the Moon or Mars. That's our look at the day here at home. Bruce Frisco is here at 11:30. The web and the app have updates anytime. I'm Todd Battis. Hope to see you tomorrow for the Friday edition of your local news. Till then, good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast. Watch live on Crave.